It's coffee time. Right, today we are going to be doing an espresso because I fancy an espresso. We're going to be doing one of those bad boys, and I don't really know what else. So anyone has suggestions, please suggest. Any of my guests in the other room, if you want a coffee or decaf coffee, let me know. I might do a decaf coffee myself. I've been using some of the Monmouth decaf for early to late afternoon coffee times because I don't want coffee after about 2 p.m. You shouldn't have coffee too late because it will screw up your sleep. But yes, happy Mother's Day to anyone in the UK or any other country that celebrates it today. Happy Sunday. Hopefully we're all doing well. Whoever's having a nice chilled weekend. Nari, I have a wonderful thing at work that I send out orders and check the quotes are reasonable, yet I have no fiscal responsibility for my project. Oh, I can like make the company buy things, yes, but not my money. I just say, hey, I need a license for this thing. Someone can you sort that out for me? And then it goes off into the ether, and then it comes back with what I want. Yes, we were just talking about company purchasing cards and the end of the fiscal year, and using terms like fiscal. Right, we're going to grind 20 grams of beans. It's gonna get loud. Beans! Beans indeed. Beans. The musical fruit. They're not fruit. And they're certainly not musical. Right, let's go for an old 20-gram basket. Oh, that's hot. It's been on the warmer up there. 20 grams. Get myself a paper filter. Stick that in. Hey, I need these 15,000 words translated into these 7 languages. Okay, this is not... yeah. Hey, can you pay that person? Yeah. I do like having literally no financial or line managerial responsibility in work. I used to be a manager. And I recommend doing it once to people who think, no, I don't want to do that. It's worth... Ow! Sorry, I just stabbed myself with my stabby tool. It's worth doing once just to experience how much you don't want to do it. You may think you don't want to do it, but you truly don't know the full extent of having to be the middle person between things like upper management and the people actually doing the work, or being between HR and the people actually doing the work, because you used to be one of those people doing the work, so you know you're on their side, but unfortunately you can't actually be on their side for half the stuff. Oh, it's a minefield. Right, how am I going to do this? Hey there, just a quick reminder, this is a recording of a stream I did on Twitch. If you like this and want more live content, come join the chat and the great community over on Twitch. I stream every week Monday, Friday and Sundays, or follow me on my socials for any changes or extra streams. Okay, thanks, and here's the video. There we go. Now I was like, I don't want to manage 20 people anymore. Let me just look after the computers and the programming, please. That is where I want to be. Asta, hello, welcome on in. Can we get a shout out, please, for Asta Tales? Happy Sunday, happy Mother's Day from the UK. It is Mother's Day. If anyone, like I say, I'm reminding everyone, if you're in the UK, go talk to your mum. If you have forgotten, do it now. See if my mum's replied. She hasn't. She hasn't even read it. It's good. Pyro, hello. Slides in and flings cookies. I missed it. I missed the cookie. I don't want to manage 2 people. Forget 20. I think the most I actually managed at one point was 12. I was the team leader with the most people to direct manage at one point. It was within the IT department. It was annoying. I had no idea. Well, that's fine. I mean, it's a different day all over the world. America's in May, I think, isn't it? Which is why I apply for the jobs that are not supervised. I mean, I recommend, like I say, I recommend people doing it once or twice, just to fully experience it. It's good experience, and understanding how that relationship works with the people you manage to the people who are telling you how to manage them. Because I would have like my boss going, you need to get them to do this thing. And I'm like, they're not going to do the thing because it's stupid the way you're suggesting. It's like, no, but you need to make it happen. It's like, okay, so I have to look like the bad guy while also sympathizing with them completely. Even though it's your job. You're the one making the decision. Yeah, cool. Okay, cool. You're just the bad, middle management, you're just the bad person. You can't do good for the person above. You can't do good for the person below. Is there any wonder why I gave up that job? Jobs. I did it several times. Second one, I was only managing 4 people. I wanted people where the servers are. Yeah, just stick me in the server room in the corner. I will harmonize with the hum of the of the air conditioner. Today's the first day of daylight savings. It is. You've lost an hour. My condolences. We don't lose an hour for another 3 weeks. Another 3 weeks. Which means we are an hour closer to everyone in the States. Most people in the States. Isn't there like one state that doesn't do it until like later? Which just seems weird. Anyway, we're about to make an espresso. This is just my bog standard Monmouth coffee Fazenza IP. It's a dark roast. We put 20 grams in. We're hopefully getting about 40 to 50 mils of coffee out. Wait for the green light and we'll carry on. Mother's Day is the 3rd Sunday in May for you. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it's not the same everywhere in the world. I think ours came from World War I, off the top of my head. I experienced it when managing undergrads at PhD. Oh God, not undergrads, no. I used to be one of those, we were the worst. Arizona doesn't daylight saving times at all. I've often said, why don't we just shift the whole world by half an hour? And then you never have to do it ever again. Just half an hour. In one direction. Then everyone, and then you never have to do it. Anyway, there's some coffee coming out. Can you see that? There you go. That's coming out quite well today. That's about the speed I want. Because it should take about 25 seconds or so to get to the level I want. It's a little fast, but we're almost there. It's 25 seconds from the moment I like start putting water through the system, not from when it comes out. So it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Thank you, Cortana, for the quote. Oh yes, it's 3 AM. I'm up a little late. Sorry about that. I don't remember that one. Oh, it's a Joe quote. Was I making fun of Joe? I was probably making fun of Joe. Joe, how is Evie? How is Evie, Joe? How is the doggo? Hopefully well. Right, what container am I going to put this in? I'm going to put it in one of these, but I'm also going to froth some milk on this one. So we'll leave that there for a second. And we're going to froth some milk in the big container. We're going to try it. Get enough for 2 drinks, maybe. All right, so the way you froth the milk is, I've got my little thermometer here. I want it to be in the red zone, which is good milk temperature. You don't want to go above that because then the proteins start to break down. It tastes a bit weird. I'm going to put this in at a bit of an angle, but it's like at the top. So at the moment, like the milk's up here, and so is the nozzle, trying to get air into it. Trying to create bubbles, as you can tell. And then when I think I've got enough bubbles, I then plunge it a bit deeper and start to swirl it. So I've pushed it to the side now, and it's about down here. And then when it's finally up to temperature, let's get a little bit more bubbles in there. It's almost up to temperature. 50 degrees. You need to be about 65, 70 degrees. Almost going to spill out. Right, we're almost there. Perfect. There we go. There we are, and you can see now, don't know if you can see it on the top down one, that is full to the top. So it was about halfway, just under halfway full, now it's like at the top. Now, one of the things I've learned recently is, if you want to make it a bit more smoother and frothy, you sort of like pour it between 2 containers. Holy hell, that's hot. I was holding it by the bottom, that was a mistake. And you sort of like get some air into it, you see. And it also helps blend the frothy milk and the non-frothy milk. There we are. That's going to pour some into this little one. There we go. And then give it a little bit of a swirl. You can see how the froth is sort of sticking to the side. That's good. That means it should be a decent consistency. And then, oh, this might actually be pretty decent. Oh, not quite. Almost perfect though in the consistency, and I don't think it's quite blended enough. Some of the lighter stuff has remained in that jug, but that's fine. Look at that. There you go. You can see the line of difference between the froth and the coffee. She's buzzing, ready for Sunday walking. Nice. Can we get a shout out for Joe, please? Actually, I've got a button for that. There we go. I was poking fun at Joe for getting up early. That's what that quote was. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. We're complaining about Arizona and their inability to follow daylight savings. I mean, arguably they've got the right tactics, right? Why bother? Why bother with daylight savings? Farmers, that's why. At least that's one of the reasons in the UK. One of. There were a couple of reasons. Anyway, should we have some coffee? Where's my... There we go. Let's have some coffee. Look at that. Look at that bad boy. Oh, that's a good one today. Oh, that's a good one today. Arizona switches whole time zones instead of following data savings. Okay, that's wrong. That's wrong. Okay. That's wrong. That's just horrible. Anyway. Our time goes back on the 31st of March, which is Easter. Easter's early this year. It's last weekend in March. It's one of those rare years where everything happens in one weekend. So the Easter's happening, the clocks go back, and it's the start of the new financial year and all that stuff. It's rare that they all like happen on the same time. Obviously, two of those are governed by things like the moon and random arbitrary time things shot in the dark. Easter's based on the moon as well, right? I can't remember. It's something to do with the moon. Oh, that's a really nice sort of like latte sort of thing. Cappuccino. The moon... I mean, arguably the moon's correct, because guess the moon has a 4-week phase. And there should be 13 months in the year because it would match up with the moon and all that stuff. And it would all make sense if it was 13 months in the year and you know, everything was 4 weeks, 28 days. It would mean the first is always on a Monday as well, if we set it up to that way. You know, it makes sense to do that. And why we didn't? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. They decided... when they were moving from 10 months to 12 months to only go to 12 months, and then stuff happened. That's my summary of history. If you ever want to figure out what happened in the past, stuff happened. And it affects today. There you go. History. The moon is very smart. It is. The moon gives all. Lunar doesn't match with solar, which means seasons would get... I mean... Meh. 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 Over a longer period, though, they would get a little bit out of sync. A lot of stuff. It's that the video of the history of the universe thing, where nothing happened, a lot of nothing happened, and then everything happened at once. That's a really nice coffee. I'm gonna make another one in a minute with the rest of my frothed milk. Let's keep that nice and warm, shall we? On there. Has anyone got any plans for today? Anything? It's nice dry. Is it dry? It was dry. No, it's wet. Was it? Really hard to tell. There's no rain on my car, but the floor is wet. What? Oh god, there's so much cloud I can't see anything out there. Okay. Guess we're staying inside today. We'll have visitors over, so we will be staying in anyway. Lovely. Well, I've got you here. Let's talk about the week. Let's talk about the plans for this week. This week, on Monday, we're playing some Baldur's Gate 3. Yes, we are. We are within the city, the lower city, and we've got a lot of investigation to do. We've really got to get a move on, because I'm hoping we can finish this by the end of April. Let me see. When did I start? I started it. I've been playing it for 7 months. We need to get a move on. Then Friday, we are going to be playing Cult of the Lamb. One of you kind people out there was very, very, very nice and bought me a copy of the Culty Lammy goodness. So we're going to be playing a bit of that. I'm loading up Steam to make sure that I did install it. I did redeem that. Good, cool. Yeah, we're going to be playing some Cult of the Lamb. I've never played it before, and I did watch it when people were playing it when it first came out, and it looked really fun. And it was on my. This is one of those. Oh, I'll stick it on the list. I'll get around to it eventually. And then one of you was very kind and gifted it to me a couple of weeks ago when I was talking about it. So that's what we'll be playing on Friday. And then next Sunday. What's happening next Sunday? Probably going to be doing a Lego build. I don't know. We'll leave that one a bit up in the air. We'll do coffee and maybe a Lego build. We will see. Get the Twitch extension installed. Yes, because then that was the thing I need to look at. Yeah, because then you guys for Cult of the Lamb can join in as one of the cult members, right? And you can design yourself. That's what I remember. I will get that installed. I'll make sure that's installed. Oh, right. Today we're just going to be doing coffee, by the way. We're not. I'm not going to be doing any Lego or playing any games or anything. Got people over, so we're just going to be doing a quick quick coffee stream. Speaking of which, I've already finished this one because it's so good. I think that's the most successful frothing of the milk I've done in a long time. And maybe it's because I did the whole passing it between two containers. Maybe I'll do that a little bit more. Now it's settled. Like, I'm literally just pouring it between because it kind of like stirs it up a bit and gets more oxygen in there. You love cult nonsense. Don't go screaming that out in public. You'll likely be sectioned. Right, should we get on to another coffee? Another one. I'm gonna drop it down one of the grind levels just to see how it goes. It was a teeny bit fast. So if I drop it down, hopefully it should be all right. Bartenders call that rolling, do they now? I only saw it. There was a TikTok I saw a few weeks ago that did it, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I've never seen anyone do that before. Because if you go to like the major chain coffee shops, I haven't seen anyone do that. But then they've got the big jugs, and you know they're just trying to churn it out, so it does take a lot more time. And then I was at a coffee shop nearby, and the guy did it once. He didn't like do it back and forth many times, but he did it once, and I was like, oh, so it is definitely a thing. Right, I'm gonna go throw this away. back in our mo. Right, perfect timing. Right, let's get a paper filter out. I need to remember to buy more of these, we're running out. Which means I've had probably about 200 espressos since buying them. Which doesn't seem like a lot. I don't actually have the espresso like maybe 2 or 3 times a week. 2, maybe 3. Because like remember to turn this on a good 20 minutes before I want a coffee is the problem, because it takes 20 minutes to heat up. One day I'll invest in the upgrade, get a PID, get the faster heat up one, the one that isn't as noisy as well. One day, but that's not today. Good tamp. Lovely flat bed you got there. Oh, I'm not even on the right camera. That's a problem. There we go. There you go. I just did that. There we are. Book screen on. Let's give it another cooling flush. About 4 seconds once the water's coming out. Should be enough. Give it 10 seconds to heat back up. Some drinks don't take a while to being cooled by shaking with ice. So they'll put shattered ice in one side of the shake and slowly, or not slowly if it's flare bartenders, transfer it between 2 sides of the shake. Oh yes, okay. There's also partly why they put the ice in the glass beforehand, and then they use like the clean ice and the dirty ice as well. I know a little bit about bartending. I've never worked in a bar. That's something I probably should have done. Right, let's get this going. Can you see that? There it is. That's much more restricted than it was. Unfortunately, that's because my grinder doesn't have a midpoint between the 2 settings. So it's either going to be like this for some things, or it's going to be like the previous one. I think I would have preferred the previous one because it's closer to the timing, so it's fine. Being more restricted isn't too bad. It just means that you're more likely to get channels because the water has to eventually force its way through with more pressure. But taking like 10 seconds longer, being up to like 35 seconds isn't a problem. That's well within acceptable ranges. There we go. Everyone tries to aim for 25 seconds, but it's really 25 to 30 seconds. And everyone tries to aim for that like 1 to 2 ratio, but really it's more like a 1 to 2.5 ratio is acceptable. So there is some leeway. Now I've got a lot of milk here, Might have to do a third one. Let's... Oh god, we are going to have to do another one. Maybe I'll have a decaf. No froth on top on that one. But again, lovely. Yeah, there's enough there for another one. Maybe I'll have a little Americano sort of thing. Look at that bad boy. There we go. Classic example is a Bloody Mary. Don't shake the Bloody Mary unless you want it slushy. Ah, yes, because, well, certain liquors will be thicker and they'll mix with the ice a bit more. And like I say, become slushy. Actually, this one tastes better than the last one. So having it a bit more restricted worked out better for this one. Oh, yes. Oh. Yeah, I'm going to do a decaf as well. Let's do a little decaf in a minute. I know that in some cocktails, they'll obviously mix with ice and then they'll strain it from that ice onto fresh ice. So you've got the dirty ice and the clean ice. And the reason for doing that, depending on what you're mixing is, it affects the taste. Like some of the dirty ice takes some of the taste, maybe some of the bad tastes away from some of that harsher alcohol. So, you want it over fresh, clean ice, so it's not quite as, like some of the, I don't know, sharp flavors, bitter flavors, something like that, I don't know. But in other ones, you want it to be the dirty ice because you want that flavor, you want to keep that flavor. That's the most I ever learned about making drinks. I'll just throw a cocktail, I'll just throw like alcohol in a thing and make whatever tastes good. Good times. I realised I've missed some chat here. Joe says gym time with wifey isn't happening because she has to work today, but I have sad gym time. Oh no, Joe. Oh. I'm so lonely. I've just got Joe like sitting at like doing sad squats in a grayscale. just oh god, where's that button? Where's my button gone for this? I had my little grayscale button. Oh, I've lost it. You'll still be happy. Weightlifting is third on the joint list. Oh, maybe I don't have it on this scene. My little noir thing. What's this button do? Oh, that's the rain. Ah, there's the button. There we go. It's just Joe. So sad. Right. I'm feeling more caffeinated now. Lovely. Lovely. My hair is doing some weird thing. I'm gonna have a haircut, I think, this week. Because it's doing some odd things. Like, this back bit's way too long. What's going on here? Beard's come back though, look on. Right, should we do a decaf? Let's do a decaf. Let's go do this. Oh, kick the camera for good luck. Back in a mo. We'll do a decaf, and I'll put it in my Ember mug so it keeps warm, so I can take my time with it. 3 drinks in one day is kind of my limit. So 3 caffeinated drinks, coffee drinks is kind of my limit. If I'm having a bad day in work, then it will definitely be like the big jug, and that'll be 3. Sometimes 4, but you can be nice and offer. I've already offered them twice. 2 of them don't drink coffee, and one of them that did drink coffee no longer drinks caffeinated coffee stuff that often, to my knowledge. Sam, if you're listening, do you want a decaffeinated coffee? And there you go. I've offered again. I don't know if they've got the sound on. They are watching, but I don't know if they've got the sound on. Right, so decaf wise, I've got Monmouth's current decaf, which is basically decaf of the same coffee I've just been drinking, the Fazenda IP. They do rotate which one is decaffeinated and which one they have. So sometimes it's this one, sometimes it's the Fazenda Fernaz, sometimes it's, oh god, I can't remember the other one. I think they also have a decaffeinated version of their like organic espresso. So very, very highly recommended. The thing with decaf is, so the way there's several ways to decaffeinate coffee beans, and it's all done before the roasting process. So some of them they soak it in chemicals, gorgeous, gorgeous chemicals, which extracts the caffeine from the beans and sort of like soaks in and opens up the beans. There's other ones where they soak it in sort of water with certain things. James Hoffman did a video on decaf recently, and he kind of explained them all. Very, very, very much worth a watch. But the way they do is basically they try and get as much caffeine out of the bean before roasting. Then they make they do the process as normal, you know, they roast it and whatever. But because of the way that initial decaffeinating process goes, the beans are sort of like pre-opened before the roasting. So when you're roasting beans, light roasts are denser because they haven't gotten to the heat where like it gets more porous and more open and more of that the inside stuff comes out, the oils and whatnot. Dark roasts, especially super dark roasts, are more oily because some of the stuff in the inside comes out, and they're also less dense and more porous. Decaf kind of shifts that more to the porous side. He already offered us coffee, but we have palates of a child. Sam likes coffee. Yeah, so what you see is these are the same beans. They're roasted in exactly the same way, but these are a lot lighter You can actually tell. I can tell just by listening to them rustle that they're more porous, they're lighter, they're less dense. Which means that you should kind of like grind them a little bit and treat them a little bit darker than they appear, because they may appear the same roast level, the same like they're as dark as the other ones. If I put them side by side, you really wouldn't tell the difference in terms of like color and stuff. But these are definitely more porous because of the decaffeinated nature of them. Which means we'll probably have to grind a little bit less fine. I'm going to go for 3. But it also means the weight of them is slightly different because, you know, they have less in them, basically. They're more porous, they have less in them. So 20 grams of this versus 20 grams of the same stuff which is caffeinated, their volume's going to be like slightly different. But I'm going to do 20 grams. But it means that, you know, when I put it in the basket, it may appear different, just slightly. A reminder that to be classed as decaffeinated coffee, it has to be no more than 0.3% caffeine. I bet you're all going, wow, that's not a lot of caffeine. But remember that normal coffee is only 2% caffeine. So it's about 15%. If 2% is 100% of the caffeine, it's about, no, it's not. Hold on. Yeah, it's about 15% caffeine compared to the normal. Coffee is you. How dare you? Pyro, how dare you? Get out. How can you be in this stream? You're all heathens. Coffee is you for some people, I agree. It used to be for me. I used to hate coffee. But that was 1, because my taste buds have changed, and 2, because I was made bad coffee. Most of the time, people don't like coffee because of they've been made bad coffee. Like just they've been given mass-produced, over-roasted, badly prepared, badly made, filtered, and all that stuff coffee. There you go. There's some decaf for you. Now I ground this nowhere near as, one level coarser than the previous one, and it appears fluffier and lighter. It appears as if this is like been ground much finer than the previous grind of the full caffeinated version of the coffee. And that's that porousness coming out. Porousness, is that a word? It is now. That's all that is. Hey, you prepare it in the same way. So you make some adjustments, but that's about it. Let's cool that off slightly. I don't like coffee. I'm here for the rare dog appearances, that's fair. You don't like bitter. Yeah, exactly. Some people just don't like bitter, but then you can also counteract. I've talked about this at length before. You can counteract bitterness and sourness in the coffee with various things like milk, salt, sugar, things like that. So, you can be made a good coffee. Don't like coffee because I woke up to the smell of it for 12 years of my life and not morning person. Ooh, see, now some people that don't like coffee love the smell of it because it has those chocolatey undertones. But you have like a psychological sort of like aversion to it now because of that. And I think we can all relate to that sort of thing. Things that coffee that I appreciate have so little coffee, you may as well just skip it. That's true. That's true. Porosity. Porosity? Porousness? Could be. I have made you a good coffee, yeah. Right. Is that all? That's all heated up? That's not the word. Coming up with all the words today, aren't I? Right, remember this was ground nowhere near as... I say nowhere near. It was one level coarser than the previous one. But I bet it's going to be a bit... probably on par with the speed. I don't know. I'll probably eat my words now. Okay, no, it's a little bit faster. That's probably about right, actually, looking at this. I need to have like a timer on screen, don't I, for like 25 seconds, because that's what we're aiming for. Anyway, that's the coffee. That's the decaf. It looks pretty much the same. I think you'll agree. What we'll do is we'll have a little bit of hot water. And we'll use the rest of that milk. Nothing fancy this time. There we go. Obviously, the longer I leave the milk, the more the bubbles sort of burst, so you get less of the foam. But there we are. That's the decaf. And that's the same one as this. So let me just have a... The coughing was not the coffee, that was just me. Okay. Oh, that's good. Good. For anyone who thinks that decaf can't be good, or it's nowhere near as good as like full caffeinated coffee, that's good. That is on par with the full caffeinated version. And it's all about like whether it's been decaffeinated correctly and like roasted correctly and all that stuff. And the other thing about decaf coffee is it goes off probably twice as fast as normal coffee. So a bag of coffee I could probably get through in couple of weeks, few weeks, month at most, let's say. You know, freshly roasted, it would last in an airtight thing quite a few weeks. Decaf doesn't, because it's more porous, because it's been through that process of decaffeination. It goes off, it spoils quicker, just because the air can get into the pores much quicker. And you can do things like freeze it, airtight container, things like that to make it last longer, but it's still always going to go off quicker. And because people don't drink as much decaf coffee as they do full fat coffee, cafes that serve decaf coffee will probably have a bag of decaf coffee that's been off for a while because they just haven't been able to get through it. Which means people then don't like decaf and go back to full fat and full fat. Yes, full fat. Oh, that's good. That's a good coffee. It tastes exactly the same. It's got the same notes and everything. Love it. Love it. Right. Well, that is that's the full extent of coffee time today. Like I say, I'm not doing anything else. Not Lego or anything. I think that's a good place to leave it. Does anyone have any coffee related questions before I finish up? I'm checking to see who's online. It's a raid. I'm getting an advert. Damn you, Twitch. Nope, no questions. I will leave it there then. Thank you all for watching the coffee time.